All right, we're going to talk about cleaning our bars, refurbishing our bars, make them spin nice. A lot of times people think that once the spin is gone, that's it. But you can definitely refurbish them to make sure that they're spinning nice and smooth for you. We're talking about bushing bars today. That's kind of metal on metal. There's not a lot of moving parts in there. There's two main types of bushing bars, commercial versions. You have one that's a snap ring, and then you also have one that's a pin based. So these tend to be a little bit older, but it all depends on what make you have. And then you have a snap ring based bar, which are a lot of the bars that I see is snap ring as well. So we're gonna teach you how to take them off, refurbish them, basically make them brand new. Steel doesn't get bad, we just gotta oil it up. Drew's gonna help me out here. Drew's our barbell refurbisher extraordinaire. And first things first is you wanna make sure you have the right tools. If you're working with a snap ring barbell, you gotta buy some snap ring pliers. You can do it possibly with some really small needle nose pliers. It's just gonna frustrate you if you're doing multiple bars. So you wanna have these snap rings, which reach out and grab those snap rings and pull them out. Second thing is 3-in-1 oil is a great lubricant to use. That's what we use. And then if you're dealing with a pin style bushing bar, you want a screwdriver that's going to be able to fit through that hole, and we'll show you that in a little bit. Then you have your hammer, your wire brushes, and then your rag. So first things first is Drew's going to go ahead and take his snap ring pliers. You want to pull the snap ring by applying tension so that it closes it, and then you're going to pull it directly out away from you. Once you do that, the biggest thing you want to do is make sure that you're laying this stuff out individually exactly the order that you took off. Now, this is kind of tricky. Drew, you can push it. Sometimes if it's stuck, you can kind of give it a bang on it and it'll come out, but it'll fall out by itself. Then you kind of put it back. Sometimes there's two snap rings at the very beginning. It just all depends on your barbell. Now there's another snap ring usually after you take that cap off. Same idea. Reach in, grab it, and pull it directly out. All right. Next, what you're gonna do is once you get that snap ring out, you're gonna be able to shift the barbell back towards the middle, and it'll get the next part of it out of the way. So normally what you have is you have a kind of a flat piece, and this is different. You'll notice that it kind of curves up, and you want to put the curve towards the middle of the barbell as opposed to behind it. And then you have a half moon that locks everything in place. Half moon washer, now you're out. Sometimes this guy will either be broken, you just have to buy another one, but usually that's what you're looking at. And now that you're free and out of the way to work, now you can slide the sleeve right off of the barbell. So now Drew's just gonna slide it off. If there's anything else, he'll kind of catch it. All right, so now this is what we're looking at. We're looking at two touch points of these bushings. You have the very beginning at the end of the barbell, and then towards the middle, you can kind of see where it's worn a little bit. We're basically worrying about cleaning that part and then brushing all the rust off. And then also inside the barbell, you might have some rust around that bushing port. So what we gotta do is we gotta clean both of those parts, lubricate it, put it back on, and then we're golden. So the way we do that is first we wanna wipe it all off. So we'll wipe it all off, and then just to make sure all that oil's off, and then we can get at it with the brushes. So we're using a wire brush or hard bristle brush, and all we're doing is just cleaning everything around it. While Drew's doing the other side, I'll be doing this side, and we're just making sure to remove any grime, any dirt. If you see that, just kind of you want to try to clean that as much as possible. A wire brush probably works best, but you just want to make sure and get that all off so that there's nothing. You want to make that part as smooth as possible. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you clean that rust inside. So usually what I'll do is just kind of get my finger in there, clean that first, and you'll notice, here's another washer. Clean all that out if we can. I'll usually use my smaller brush to try to get in there, clean it out, make sure there's no grime around there. Pipe brush would probably be best for this, but that's what we have. So we're looking at that, making sure that both ends are nice and clean, as smooth as possible. So if you take your finger and you roll it around there and you notice there's anything bumpy, that's what you gotta make sure and clean. All right, and then the opposite end and the top end. So we're gonna clean all that stuff out. All right, now it's the time to apply the oil. All we're gonna do is apply liberally, and just rub it around. Make sure you have something underneath that if you don't want your floor to get all oiled up or stained. Is that good? All right. Now, here, we're just making sure that it's everywhere, nice and liberal around that contact point. All right, so now it's time to put the sleeve back on, and you'll notice that everything here is exactly the way it came off, so everything is correct in the order we do everything. So we have that first washer. Drew's gonna put that back on. That one's flat. You don't have to worry about which direction. Well, usually they're flat. Just make sure you put them on the same way you saw them. Every barbell is different. And then we have the half moon washers that are gonna stick right into there. And then as he puts it on there, I'm gonna help him by scooting that up so it holds it. And then you have the other washer, the washer that's more of an arced washer. You're putting that arc away from the barbell, the flat, or the arc pointing towards the middle of the barbell, the flat on the outside. Now we start putting the snap rings on. The trick is to make sure that once we put them on, you want to push them, make sure that they're in the groove. Sometimes you'll hear a click. If you hear that click, you know you got that in there correctly. So now we put the cap back on. I'm gonna try to put that in straight away, right inside there. And then for the final snap ring, make sure that it's nice and tucked into place. Again, you wanna make sure that it snaps back in, and that's all the way in, and there's really hardly any wiggle room. The better bars will have almost no play in the sleeve. And now you notice that barbell nice and spins, nice and smooth. Now we're ready to lift. All right, so for your pin barbell, pin sleeve barbell, we're gonna take this pin and we're gonna take it all out. We're gonna push it out by making sure to give some sort of nail or screwdriver that will push it right through the bottom. And once we got it right through the bottom, all right, now that the pin is out, we can just go ahead and remove the end cap. And that's it. There's not any multiple snap rings, multiple washers. Usually it just has that thing and we just pull the whole sleeve out. And now, again, we're working on the two contact points, one at the front and the back. You can see somewhat recently we've done this one. So we're just gonna redo it today. And the same idea, you clean it, you make sure and scrub it. Once you re-oil it, you put it back on. And then at the very end, you just hammer the pin right back through. All right, so now we've done that, slide it back in just like the other snap ring bar. Once we slide it back in, all we're gonna do is line that cap up with the holes, line that bad boy up, making sure that it's together, and then we just hammer it right back through, and you are done. All right, once you hammer that pin all the way through, you're good to go. Very much easier, a lot easier than your snap ring barbells. Spins like a dream. And these barbells, if you keep them lubricated and refurbished, will last you for years. That's what's great about it. I'd recommend doing it at least once a year, depending on use. Again, my name is Mark. I'm with Elevate Equipment and Consulting, and we appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.